In this video, I'll introduce you to the embedded button event properties and show you a way to simplify your programming by applying those principles using button 0. Reference to embedded event data objects can be found in the Netlink Studio help file. I'll demonstrate how the properties are used for the button 0 application. Let's take an object-oriented approach to Netlink's coding for a moment, and specifically the button event. Embedded within Netlink's events, and specifically in this case the button event, are associated properties. These are a set of system variables that Netlink's creates by default and exposes to the programmer for use in code as required. The button event embedded properties only exist within the scope of the button event itself. The first on the list is the button.input. It is two-dimensional and contains the device and channel information for the specific device that triggered a specific button event, namely the device triplet and the channel number. For example, if the event was triggered by button number 2 on the touch panel at address 10.0.0.1.1, then button.input would contain 10.0.0.1.1, 2. We call this data type a devchan because it is made up of both a dev data type as well as the associated channel number. Similarly, the button.input.device stores only the device triplet of the device that triggered the event. The DPS triplet is obviously defined by a device data type in Netlink's, for example 10.0.0.1.1. For this exercise, we'll use button.input.channel along with button 0. The 0 in a button event is a wildcard character, or a catch-all, meaning any button on that port that gets pressed will trigger the button event. For example, here is a button event that uses channel 0. It is interpreted as follows. When any button on the DVTP is pressed, then turn on the IR power on channel for the DVD for as long as the button is held. So basically, the DVD player will turn on when any button is pressed on the touch panel. Obviously, this is not a desired result. In this scenario, it doesn't matter if we press the play, stop, pause, or any other button. The end result will be the power on command gets sent to the DVD player. Okay, so let's fix this. This time, a button event embedded property has been used to specify which IR channel must be pulsed. Now the code interprets as follows. When any button on DVTP is pressed, turn on the IR channel that corresponds to or is the same as the channel code of DVTP for as long as the button is held. So in effect, the button channel codes on the DVD control page of the UI are mapped to the IR channels of the DVD IR file. What that means is that this short piece of code serves as the IR control code for all IR functions of the DVD player, or any IR controlled device for that matter. Be careful though. Now that you are using the button event 0, if you go in and change the channel code of a button, you are also changing which command gets sent to the DVD player. For example, the play button is assigned to channel code 1, based on Snappy. If you change the channel code to some other number, like 6, now when your user presses the play button, the scan forward, IR command will be sent instead of the play command. So let's go back into our code and practice this a bit. First, let's start with DVD player. In the previous tutorial, we built two button events for play and stop. Let's just delete these. Or if you prefer, you can just comment them out. Now let's use button event 0 to program all of our buttons on the DVD page in one simple block of code. First, we create a button event. The device where the button event is occurring is DVTP DVD, and the channel is 0, our catch-all. Next, what event occurred? A push. And finally, what are we going to do when any of those buttons are pushed? We are going to use a to command to send the IR signal out to the DVD player. The device we are controlling once again is DV-DVD, and the channel we want to send is whatever channel was pushed on the touch panel. Therefore, we use button.input.channel. That's it. Now instead of creating a separate button event for each and every button, This one block of code will handle every button on the DVD page. Make sure you compile. Now I'll simply copy this button event and paste it over the play and stop events for my set-top box. Change the devices to dvtp_stb and dvstb. Recompile and you're done. Much easier. We've learned quite a bit over the last few tutorials, but we still need one more thing. We're missing the feedback on our touch panel. You might be asking yourself, how do you get feedback with IR devices? IR control is one way. Just like the remote control in your living room. You point it at the TV and hope that the command gets there. It's the same for a control system. There is no verification that the command was received by our DVD player or set-top box. With that understanding, we could still perform some level of feedback. We always desire the best feedback we can get. I'm going to quickly open my touch panel file. So the first option is to simply change the feedback type of the buttons on the touch panel. Right now, they're set for channel feedback. Another option in the list is momentary feedback. With this option, the touch panel handles the feedback. If you press the button will show its on state. This is easy, but can we do better? Absolutely. I'll keep this set to channel and go back into Netlink Studio. We can at least verify that the push was received. It was processed correctly, and an IR command was sent out on the correct IR port. That's half the battle. The only thing we don't know is which command got sent, if the order of the IR commands were arranged correctly, or if the IR emitter was in fact attached to the controlled equipment. So, how do we write this feedback? First, I'll go down to my Define Program section, where I'll write my feedback statements. Since we always assign from left to right, we place the button we want to effect on the left, then use the gets assigned operator. On the right side of the operator, we place the dev_chan pair whose value will get assigned to the button on the right. That line of code is written as, in square brackets, dvtp_dvd, play equals, in square brackets, dvdvd, play. And just to remind you once again, the play constants are nothing more than a channel number. In this case, play is equal to the number 1. I'll finish by writing the rest of my feedback statements for the DVD player. As soon as I complete that, I can copy the entire block of feedback statements and paste them directly below for the set-top box feedback as well. Of course, I need to change my devices. Make sure you compile when you are finished. And that's all there is to it. Now, if I press any of those buttons on the touch panel, the button will not light up unless an actual command gets sent to the IR port. That verifies that the Netlink's processor received the button event from the touch panel. The button event was processed correctly, and some sort of IR command got sent out of the IR port. If any of those things failed, then the button on the touch panel will not light up, signifying to the user that something is wrong. Okay, let's move on to the next exercise.